Annyeonghaseyo. My name is Sherri and I am a doctoral candidate in the Department of Communication at Wayne State University in Detroit, Michigan, USA. I study the complicated mediated relationships between the divided Koreas and the United States. I'd like to thank Valentina for inviting me to participate in this conference. It looks like a terrific program, and I wish I could be there with you today. The title of my presentation is Hallyuwood Map to the Dollars, Korean Tourism Campaigns in the United States. Now, I'm going to assume that most of you already know what Hallyu is, but just in case, Hallyu means the Korean wave, and it refers to the popularity of Korean pop culture abroad. But really, it's not just pop culture. It's Korean pop and traditional elements. It's K-pop and kimchi. It's Korean dramas and Hangul, the written alphabet of the Korean language. It's Taekwondo, it's learning Korean history, and it certainly is traveling to Korea as well. So what happens when an American fan falls in love with K-pop, for example? They want to go and travel to Korea. Now here's a great quote that I just pulled from a CNN travel article recently. "I first became interested in Korea because of K-pop," said PJ Feldstein, a senior at the University of Washington who came to Korea on an exchange program. "It was my first introduction to Korean culture and people and made me want to travel here." Wherever Hallyu has taken hold, tourism to Korea has also increased. And this is good news for the Korean tourism agencies because they are trying to increase the tourist revenue from $9 billion to $30 billion by 2020. Gangnam Style is a huge worldwide success in 2012, and it even landed on the #2 spot of the US-based Billboard Hot 100 music chart in that year. Now this is a pretty big deal, right? Because he sings the song primarily in Korean. Yet he was not the first Hallyu star to make inroads in the United States. In fact, Rain beat out Angelina Jolie to win an MTV Movie Award in 2010. This was an audience-based award, so they actually chose Rain. Audience chose Rain over Angelina Jolie. Big Bang's album Tonight broke into the top 10 of the US Top Pop Albums iTunes chart in February of 2011. And Korean dramas were the first non-English programs available on Hulu, which is a US-based streaming site that carries content from a lot of the major TV networks and other content as well, but they carried Korean television dramas long before they carried Spanish television dramas because of a content agreement that they formed with Drama Fever, the main place to watch Korean dramas online in North America. Now, Korean pop culture isn't quite mainstream in the United States, but it does have a significant enough following that all the way back in 2006, the Korea Tourism Organization welcomed its first U.S.-originating Hallyu tour. And travel from the U.S. to Korea increased 6.7% in the first half of 2010 alone. Therefore, I conducted a visual rhetorical analysis, which requires researchers to consider how the relationships between images, text, and voice, music, movement, and other elements work together to construct arguments. And I use the following theoretical framework in my study. First of all, I considered the tourist gaze, which is the combination of the desire for travel, actual travel, and photographic reproduction. So, of course, we go on vacation, we take lots of pictures, we take videos. That's what photographic reproduction means. The imaginative gaze. The tourist gaze is intertwined with the consumption of media images, that we can't tell apart maybe what the difference is between the real and the imagined, at least in terms of advertising and marketing. And then also hypertourism, which is a genre of tourism that intensifies individuals' desires to physically visit destinations. For my study, I looked at 3 distinctly different examples of Korean tourism advertising and marketing videos. The first was a 60-second advertisement called Korea Sparkling. It was released in 2007 by the Korea Tourism Organization, or the KTO, and it features rain. The second was a 3-minute music video called Fly to Seoul, and it was released in 2010 by the Seoul Metropolitan Government, and it features 2PM, minus Nikun, and I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing his name correctly, but he's the member of the group from Thailand, and he was featured in Thai tourism advertising and marketing material, so he is visibly absent from this particular music video. And then also, I looked at a 30-minute drama called Haru, An Unforgettable Day in Korea. Now, this was a single episode of a Korean television drama that was produced by the KTO and released in 2010. It featured an A-list of Hallyu stars, including Kim Bum and Big Bang and many others. While viewing these Korean tourism advertising and marketing materials, I asked the following research questions. Number 1, how do U.S. Hallyu fans acquire superficial knowledge of the symbols used in these videos? Number 2, how does this knowledge inform the tourist gaze, and are Hallyu symbols successful in evoking consumer desires of paradise acquisition? Number 3, do these videos provide the would-be tourist with a basis for selecting and evaluating potential places to visit? These screenshots help to answer these research questions. The first is a screenshot from the Korean film The King and the Clown, a 2005 film in which 2 Jotagi performers leap into the air in front of a fairly traditional-looking Korean building. Next to it is a screenshot from Korea Sparkling, the 60-second Korean tourism advertising material. Within it, we see 1 Jotagi performer leaping into the air, but not in front of a Korean traditional building, but suspended between 2 modern skyscrapers, juxtaposing the old and the new. Below these 2 screenshots, we see screenshots from the other Korean tourism advertising and marketing materials. Within Fly to Seoul and Hallyu, we don't see Jotagi performers, but what we see is that same leaping through the air, bringing back that memory of the Jotagi performers. US-based Hallyu fans can also get a sense of what Korean traditional dress is like by watching Korean dramas, for example. Now here's a screenshot from Daejangum. It was released in 2003 and it's my favorite Korean television drama ever. Now here's a shot of Rowman, and he's wearing a tall horsehair hat and a hanbok. Now next to that is a screenshot from Korea Sparkling, that 60-second tourism ad, and in it you see a gentleman wearing a tall horsehair hat and a hanbok while sitting on a bullet train and using a cell phone. So they're combining the ancient and the modern all in one shot there. It's a beautiful shot. Below those 2 screenshots are 2 others. And you've got a screenshot from the Korean television drama Coffee Prince, which came out in 2007. And in the background of this shot, you can see Namsan Tower. Also, in the Fly to Seoul music video, you can see, once again, Namsan Tower. It is part of the Seoul skyline that we see over and over and over in Korean cultural products. It makes sense that landscape is central to Korean tourism advertising and marketing materials because they're trying to use those images to entice us to visit the country. So what we see is not just Namsan Tower, but we see Namdaemun, the old gate. We see beautiful scenery such as the Han River. We see Nami Island. Those kind of things keep popping up in Korean tourism, advertising, and marketing materials, as well as in Korean cultural products such as music videos. Hallyu symbols are not limited to the visual. There are audio symbols as well. For example, the Korean folk song Arirang shows up in the Korea Sparkling spot, but it's mixed with high-energy dance beats that are then found in the other spots like Fly to Seoul and Hallyu. All this leads me to surmise the following. First, U.S. Hallyu fans gain their knowledge of symbols by consuming Korean pop culture. Second, they attach meanings to images in tourism communications based on previous experiences with Hallyu. This leads to or intensifies imaginative tourism. Therefore, Korean tourism advertising and marketing doesn't have to work as hard to inform viewers of the significance of these symbols. And third, these campaigns' uses of Hallyu symbols evoke desires of paradise in U.S. Hallyu fans. The tourist gaze reproduces the symbols and reinterpretations of the meanings. Finally, I conclude that although Korean media consumption creates a banal knowledge of Korean history and culture, U.S. Hallyu fans pick up on the symbols that are used in Korean cultural products, such as music videos, for example, and then they see these in the tourism advertising and marketing materials, and they have an affinity for them. They feel something about them. They attach the meaning to them based on the characters that they loved in the dramas. And so they want to go and visit these places on their own. And so Korean tourism advertising and marketing has a special potential to increase tourism to Korea among U.S. Hallyu fans more so than the general audience in the United States. 감사합니다. It's been a pleasure to present my work to you today. If you have any questions, please do not hesitate to contact me. My email address is on the screen.
2 p.m. Yeah, you know what it is. Fly to Seoul. Let's go. Oh, 제발 말리지 말아줘. 나에게 아직도 많이 보여게 있는데 놀라지 말고 함께 해줘. 내게만 참 좋은 걸 다 줄게. 여기에 다 모여 너도 나와 즐겨봐 빨리 이 순간 여기에 party Let's get over cold 잠들지 않는 이곳이 라이트 올라와 Let's dance dance Boom 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 함께 즐겨 신나게 밤새도록 라이트 올라와 Let's dance dance Boom 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 함께 즐겨 신나게 밤새도록 두근두근두근두근두근 되는 날 반짝반짝반짝반짝 반짝이는 밤 너만 죽게 나 Welcome to Seoul again 언제나 새로운 나를 봐 한 번도 느끼지 못한 나를 oh yeah Coming Seoul Fly to my city Seoul 난 오직 너의 에너지 내 삶을 뒤로 나지 wanna get Joe 이곳은 널 위한 자리 Let's get along please come in 잠들지 않는 이 도시 Like 올라와 Let's dance dance Boom 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 함께 즐겨 신나게 밤새도록 Like 올라와 Let's dance dance Boom 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 함께 즐겨 신나게 밤새도록 두근두근두근두근 되는 날 반짝반짝이는 밤 너만 죽게 나 Welcome to Seoul again 언제나 반겨줄게 24시간 함께해 SEOUL 어서 날아올라 baby come to me Fly to Seoul 힘껏 날아봐 Fly to Seoul 더 높이 Whatever you want Fly to Seoul 나와 Let's dance dance Boom 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 함께 즐겨 신나게 밤새도록 Fly to Seoul 나와 Let's dance dance Boom 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 함께 즐겨 신나게 밤새도록 두근두근두근두근 되는 날 반짝이는 밤 너만 죽게 나 Welcome to Seoul again
Infinitely yours, Seoul.